Good afternoon, everyone. So, previously or in previous video, we discussed the manufacturing and process flow sheet or process flow diagram for nitric acid. Now, in same unit today, we will be seeing or discussing process flow sheet, manufacturing processes and engineering problems for urea. So urea chemically we can write the compound as NH2CO NH2. So starting with its properties, molecular weight of urea is 60.05, melting and boiling points are there, and then specific gravity. Grades in which we can obtain urea are they are dependent upon the use or the consumption where we are going to use it. So if the purpose of our purpose of using urea is in fertilizer, then granular coated with non-hygroscopic dust is the grade that we should be looking for. Then if our use is in liquor, then mixture of urea in NH3 solution is used. Other is slow release, contains low molecular weight urea polymers. Next we have consumption pattern of the total urea production. So mainly it is used in fertilizer industry. 50% of the urea is used in fertilizer industry. Solid not 50% of this fertilizer industry. Again, there is bifurcation of solid and liquid fertilizer. 53% of urea is used in solid fertilizer, whereas 31% in liquid fertilizer, and other rest is used in other applications such as liquor, animal feed, formaldehyde resins, adhesives, etc. Now the most popular nitrogen fertilizer is urea in current times. So these are next is production patterns. Urea is a nitrogen compound with largest production volume in the world, and its utilization as well as production is increasing steadily, and it is being preferred as the most commonly, or it is rising as most commonly used nitrogen based fertilizer worldwide. Now moving to the methods of production. So the first method or the method we'll be discussing is ammonium carbamate decomposition. So this is production of urea by ammonium carbamate decomposition. We will see process description in detail by or with this process flow sheet or flow diagram. Before that, we will quickly see the chemical reactions taking place in the process and the raw materials. Principal raw materials are carbon dioxide and ammonia, right? So these are the two main raw materials, that is carbon dioxide and NH3, that is ammonia, and the quantitative requirements are about 1 ton of filled urea. So this is the process flow diagram for urea from ammonium carbamate. We saw raw material as ammonia and carbon dioxide. So bottom left, you can see NH3 and CO2 are entering the system over here. NH3 and CO2, these are the two raw materials. Both these carbon dioxide and ammonia are compressed in individual separators. They are separately compressed and then added to or sent to urea synthesis autoclave, which is working or operating at a high pressure. So this is a high pressure autoclave for urea synthesis, and this is to be this is cooled using water because the reaction that is going is to take place in this autoclave is highly exothermic. So water cooling with water is a must step in this autoclave. Now this autoclave also when started it works continuously, or it is operated continuously for around 90 to 120 minutes, that is 1.5 to 2 hours. Yes, and as a result of or at the end of this autoclave we obtain ammonium carbamate, water, and urea, a part of urea that has converted, and unreacted NH3 plus CO2. So here we obtain these things which I said: water, a part of urea, ammonium carbamate, and NH3 plus CO2. From here now it is in liquid form, and now it's as we previously mentioned that this autoclave operates at very high pressure. So this liquid that we get out of autoclave, its pressure is lowered and it is taken down to 27 atmospheres, and then it is fed to flash evaporators which are operating at 140 degrees Celsius temperature. Now this evaporator contains solid gas separator units and also a condenser. We can see here condenser is being sent, so there is a condenser present in this flash evaporator. Unreacted NH3, CO2 and H2O are the solution which we will be feeding here, and also the converted urea also. And again from this, after this flash evaporator, remaining parts of NH3 and CO2 are sent to recycle units, which is optional, but they are taken to recycle units. And the aqueous solution that we obtain, that is our product, the further conversion, aqueous solution of urea and carbamate combination further is moved to flash drums. Carbamate urea is passed to the flash drum where further decomposition of carbamate occurs. From this step we can either the NH3CO2 remains or impure gases can either be again same sent to recycle, can be sent for recycling, or they can now this form of NH3 and CO2 can also be used for making chemical fertilizers. We can see here there are two ways. It is diverging into two ways. We can either send it to recycle stream, or we can send it to ammonia, use this ammonia in fertilizer manufacturing. Now the remaining or the converted part, 80% aqueous urea solution at the end of flash drums is our required urea. We can use it as it is, or if we want even more pure or a particular grade of urea, then we can send it to a vacuum evaporator and obtain the molten form of urea. This molten form will now contain less than 1% water. Further, even if this form is not our desired grade, we can further take it to Prilling tower. Molten mass that we have obtained is taken and sprayed into a Prilling tower, and here cooling air is added and we get granular form of urea. And over here granules of urea are obtained. Thus, as per our need, we can use 80% aqueous urea. For liquor products, this is the desired grade. Then further, if we require molten urea, then we can stop at this stage. And if we want granules, then we will stop at this stage. So this was manufacturing of urea from ammonium carbamate. This is the process description which we just studied. More or less it is same written theoretically. We will move directly to engineering problems in manufacturing of urea. First engineering problem is autoclave variables. The autoclave we saw urea synthesis autoclave. The objective of that autoclave is to produce the optimum conditions and in order to achieve optimum yield, and the conditions which affect the temperature affect the autoclave are temperature, pressure, NH3CO2 ratio and feed rate. So when we change any of this, it can affect negatively on the yield. So variables should be selected keeping all this in mind. These are the curves showing change in different conditions and what it will affect on the conversion rates. Next problem we have is carbamate decomposition and recycle. Optimized by short residence times in a stripping column operating at conditions favorable for dissociation, low pressure and high temperature. High temperature here means it should be below 110 degrees Celsius and less than 110 degrees Celsius if its hold up time exceeds 1 or 2 seconds to avoid pyrite formation. Main difference in computing process is in the recycle design. Conversion here is only 40 to 55% by mass, so the unreacted off gases must be recirculated and used economically elsewhere. So we saw there were many recycle streams, so that should be minimized, and the conversion rate we should try and improve the conversion rate by mass. Next engineering problem is production of granular urea. So this was the third grade. First was liquid, 80% converted liquid, then we obtained the molten form, and then granular area if required. Here again the problem is pyrite formation, and pyrite is a chemical compound formed during the urea production which is not desirable in our process. Vacuum drying of 80% urea to 99% molten form and then spraying that 99% pure urea and spraying and solidifying it must be done at just above the melting point of urea in order to avoid pyrite formation. Next is heat dissipation in the autoclave. The reaction being highly exothermic, uniform dissipation of heat is important and should be kept in check. Exothermic heat of reaction can be removed by coils, wall cooling, or by adding excess reactants to provide sensible heat pickup. Next is corrosion. Corrosion in any metals or majorly all metals is same problem, repetitive problem. This has been the major reason why NH3CO2 process was slow to develop. And high cost silver or tantalum liners are used in the autoclaves with Hastelloy, titanium, stainless steel and aluminum alloys used in other parts of the plant. So in order to avoid corrosion, economic costs get badly affected, and thus some economic way or optimum way should be found to avoid corrosion Minimum temperature and pressure conditions with excess ammonia are desirable to reduce the severe corrosion rate. So this is one of the solutions which we can apply. Minimum temperature and pressure conditions with excess ammonia are desirable. Under these conditions, stainless steel can be used in the autoclave. So stainless steel being comparatively cheaper than these other high cost silver or tantalum liners, if we are able to maintain these conditions, then in those conditions stainless steel can be used and thus being cheaper. Next is process design modifications. So as per our requirement, we have to modify the design of the equipment as and when required. So this again becomes costly and also sometimes very time taking process. Economics of urea, market and sales of urea in our country. So major portion of urea is used in fertilizer industries, and the major reason for rapid growth of urea is the worldwide shift to the high nutrient, high nitrogen fertilizer. As we said in the very starting, that nitrogen based fertilizer are rising worldwide. Urea is replacing the highly acidic ammonium salts in regions where soil is already too acid and lime is scarce. So this was use of urea in fertilizers. Next, in industrial applications, it is used in plastics, particularly urea formaldehyde resin, urea melamine resins. So urea formaldehyde monomer is polymerized, and this polymer has wide range of applications. Next, in animal feed for cattle and sheep is also a good application of urea. Next, investment. Urea plants are adjunct to ammonia production complexes, so that the major investments in utilities have already been made. So during the production of urea, we get some byproducts also, which will also have economic benefits. As in case of urea, we are also obtaining NH3, that is ammonia. So from investment point of view also, urea plants are setting up. So this was about urea and its manufacturing process, along with its advantages and limitations.